Hi, this is Reality News Japan. This channel shows what's happening in Japan based on the fact. Some neighbor countries try to give lots of propaganda to disregard Japan or to keep their regime based on full of their imagination. On 4th of July 2019, Japan starts strict export controls to South Korea for 3 materials which are indispensable to produce semiconductor. It is not strict, but actually it is only made back to normal or lifted priority from South Korea and tighten government export examination as normal countries for strategic supplies. 3 materials are hydrogen fluoride for semiconductor cleaning, fluorinated polyimide for smartphone display, and resist for exposure of semiconductor print. Without these materials, quality of semiconductor becomes extremely poor, and more than 90% of them are globally shared by Japan. They are used to be exported to South Korea with simplified examination as to countries categorized as white, such as European countries and United States, who Japan trusts to for usage. Since they can be utilized for toxic gas and nucleus weapons such as uranium enrichment, they must be examined strictly, not to be given hand to third parties such as North Korea and Iran. In case of white countries, examination by Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry of Japan or MITI is simplified, and once it is approved, same materials can be exported without examination to the same countries. However, in case of no white examination is required by each shipment, it takes up to 90 days and has possibility of being rejected for the export. Furthermore, no European countries classify South Korea as white country. Anyway, this action makes big impact on Samsung, LG, etc. South Korea relies on their economy to these corporations. Japan has plenty of reasons to conduct this action as follows. 1. South Korea is suspicious to resell these dangerous materials to North Korea and Iran. South Korea has been rejecting the usage of the materials for these 3 years. They imported extremely high amount of these recently, but only 70% are clarified. It is easily calculated how much amount they need for semiconductor process as products amount is officially announced. 2. South Korea helped illegal smuggling to North Korean vessels. It was already witnessed and pictured. 3. South Korea broke international agreement of 1965 between Japan and South Korea. Breaking this agreement, they are forcing Japanese corporations in South Korea for payment as compensations to lots of would-be forced labors. They make the highest priority to emotion than international agreement. 4. Radar emissions to Japanese military aircraft at ease of Japan. They changed excuses many times, like they did not emit initially, the next time they emitted but it was for helping North Korean fishing ship, and finally they changed like they did not emit at all, and Japan is just evil. Like this they have no logical policy. What did they carry out in ease of Japan with North Korean ship? 5. Cancelled agreement for so-called comfort women. Based on their fantasy, they try to be victims. 70 years after the war they stick to this. The statue of so-called victim girl is still built in front of Embassy of Japan in Seoul City. Are they aware about real violence and rape for lie die harm that South Korean soldiers did during Vietnamese War? 6. Lots of propaganda campaign in overseas such as statues, construction of so-called comfort women, Japanese military flag disregard, Japanese emperor disregard, etc. 7. Illegal occupation of Takeshima Island. They insist it is theirs based on fantasy. There are lots of written proof and records that belong to Japan. 8. Anti-Japan education in the schools based on fantasy. Because of this, even 3 years children think Japan as enemy, and above behaviors are conducted. 9. Many others such as privileges for Korean immigrants in Japan using Japanese tax. Though initially South Korea was saying that any sanctions did not impact on them at all and they could import from other countries or processed by themselves. South Korea is fiercely and arrogantly attacking Japan and requiring to turn down the process change. They say it is against fair trade, and they prepare for lawsuit to WTO. It is funny challenge for them, as Japan lifted just priority and made fair for other Asian countries. They announced retaliation such as export ban of kimchi and K-pop to Japan, campaign of no buy Japanese products, no travel to Japan, etc. Actually they are welcome for Japan. Anyway, already citizens of South Korea are deploying no buy campaign in the supermarket or department stores, destroyed Japanese cars, etc. It is like China or North Korea, isn't it? Again, it is not sanctioned to South Korea, but just lifted the priority and classification of white country for the moment. Real sanctions are awaiting if South Korea responds to the issues above seriously. Japan is planning to extend the materials more than 1,000. It is said that Japan has many other ways of sanction, like stop financial help. Japanese media such as Asahi newspaper and TV, Mainichi newspaper and TV are almost polluted by South Korean media, therefore they are campaigning South Korean side, saying that the sanction does not make any fruits. Nobody becomes happy against fair trade. Japanese have impact on smartphone as well, both countries need more discussion, etc. As I showed in other video about Mainichi, they accept Chinese money. Asahi is well known as headquarter of Chinese propaganda as well. South Korea looks so embarrassed and desperately tries to cancel Japanese retaliation. Japan was so patient ever before, but not anymore. Japan approached to South Korea many times to clarify the usage of the materials, waiting answers against their breaking agreements based on international rules. However, they have been ignored and just justified their activities without showing any proof. Rather, they become just emotional and start anti-Japan campaigns. As a result, unless South Korea changes their mind and behavior, Japan should just keep going on the process following international rules and finally break the tie with them, as that kind of country can never be a friend. Thanks for watching the video. I have lots of topics to show you, based on the truth. See you next time.